BMW of Cicero. So pleased to be joined by our good friend Donna Ditota, basketball writer from Syracuse.com. Yes, Paulie, you start her off.
All right, Donna, the homework from the last time we had you on. Had you seen the Der Kommissar video? Did you look it up?
I do. I mean, it touched a vague portion of my old brain. Like, I did kind of remember the random weirdness of it, but I definitely did watch it.
All right. Okay, I'm sorry I put you through that.
It was like the cheesiest 80s-ish type of video that one ever has been made. I don't know.
Yeah, and you did a nice job describing it, Paulie, at the time. All right, Donna, let's get into some basketball here. You know, we saw the two exhibition games, and now we're coming off the regular season opener against Binghamton. Take us back to Monday night. What were some of your takeaways from this team on Monday night?
Well, I mean, obviously they were way better on defense. And again, we can all talk about Binghamton not being all that great, but you know what? They beat Binghamton by 40, which is what they should do. And I think that the intensity was better. I think the help defense was better. I think they were more, they just played with a lot more energy and a lot more bounce. And I just appreciated that they really went after them defensively. That's my number one takeaway.
That's a really good takeaway. I mean, Paulie and I talked about that at length on Tuesday. When you look individually, who stood out to you the most? Was it Cayenne playing so many minutes for JJ? Was it the way Nathan George played? Was it William Kyle? From an individual perspective, who stood out to you the most?
Well, I mean, I'm not a big Donnie Freeman person. I think he's one of the more talented guys I've had up there in a long time, and I think he was very good. He played really well. And I think I was also encouraged by Nate George because I think he was sort of pedestrian in his first couple of games. He was okay. He wasn't terrible. He wasn't great. He was just kind of out there. But I think he played with a little more purpose and a little more direction, and he was more aggressive. And I think all that's really important for Syracuse.
We saw Kiyan play more minutes than maybe we were expecting on Monday, given that JJ only played 3 minutes and then left with injury. Right. What are you anticipating Kiyan's role to be this year? If you had to give a projection in terms of minutes or points, I know it's tough because it's such a small sample size right now, but when they get into those Vegas games and they get into ACC games against better competition, how much do you think we're going to see Kiyan play?
I think he's going to play a lot. I mean, just because he can score, and you always want a guy who can come off the bench and score, And I think he's going to play pretty significant minutes. I mean, I think Adrian talked after the game about his defense being better, and I think it was a little bit better in this last game. Again, we can qualify it or quantify it by the opponent, but I think he paid a little bit more attention to detail in terms of defense in that game. But I think he's going to play a significant amount of minutes, like I said, just because. You can always use a scorer, and he's a very crafty scorer.
We're talking about minutes played and whatnot, and a topic that's come up on our show is, the rotation when push comes to shove, when they play the better competition. And, we saw 11 guys see the floor against Binghamton. We're probably not going to see 11 when they go to Vegas or they go into the tougher games in the ACC. Where do you think that sweet spot lands? Do you think it's, the starters and then 3 off the bench in, Kiyan, Sadiq, and who am I leaving off here on the?
Like Tyler Betsy.
Oh, Tyler Betsy, yes. Is it those 8, or do you think Soiree is going to get some time, as well in the main rotation?
I think Suarez is going to get some time just because you need another center. I mean, it's hard for one guy to play in the middle the whole time. I think he's going to play. I think he played 10 minutes, 12 minutes the other day. I think that's probably what he's going to play. And I actually think he's a pretty good defender. He's pretty tough. He's pretty strong in there. And I think I think he's going to play. So, I think they are going to go relatively, much deeper than they did last year. But, they were not deep last year. And even the guys that they had for depth were not all that frankly good. So I think this year they've got a little bit better depth. Again, we'll see once these games start rolling around and once they start playing better teams, what the rotation looks like. But Adrian keeps saying that he's going to play a bunch of guys. He's somebody told me the other day in the locker room that he told them when he was recruiting them that he was recruiting a deep roster so that not everybody's going to play like 40 minutes or something along those lines. So I think he wants to have a deep bench, and he wants to rotate guys in there and have guys get after them on defense and play with a little bit more energy.
In terms of your concerns with this team right now, what's at the top of the list? Is it 3-point shooting? Is it free throw shooting? Is it rebounding? What's your biggest concern with this team at this point?
Well, I mean, I think they still have to prove they can guard a good team, right? I mean, they haven't played a really good team yet. I mean, Binghamton's not that good, and they were missing a couple of their players, too. They had a couple of guys who were injured. So can they guard good teams is still my number one thing is what I'm worried about. They haven't shot the ball at all in these 3 games. Like, did they shoot it well in the first game? I can't remember, but they certainly didn't shoot it well the other night. I don't know. That's one thing that I think time will tell, I guess. It's hard to tell, like, in the beginning of the season how good of a three-point shooting teams are. I mean, you guys remember the years where Buddy would start out, 2 for 24 or something and then end up shooting 45% from 3. So at the beginning of the season, it's always kind of tough to tell who's making them, who's taking them, and all that. So I'm not super concerned about that. I am concerned about the rebounding just because, that's something that I also they haven't dominated the boards in any of these games, although they were pretty good the other night against Binghamton.
We heard Donnie Freeman in the locker room the other night say something along the lines of, I'm not sure if I'm supposed to be saying this, but, Red has made it a point that he wants us to go out and blow these teams out that we're supposed to blow out. And, it's all about net rankings and getting to the tournament and so on and so forth. Have you noticed a difference, other than Donnie saying that, have you noticed a difference at all in Red's approach to the season or in the press conferences that he's had since media day or just in his overall coaching or his style? Have you noticed any differences from this year to the first 2 years?
Well, I mean, he straight up said, he's not going to play the end of the bench guys. He pretty much said that at media day, I think. And I think, at the end of this game, they were up 30 or something, or 35, and he was still pressing and still trying to get guys, still he had some of his starters in at the end of the game, at the end of a 38-point game. So I think that's an indication that they are aware of the margin. And again, the NCAA will not call it the margin of victory. They will call it efficiency stats, which everybody knows means the margin of victory. So I think they're all aware of it. And I think it's good that he's telling the players that. And when Donnie was like, I don't think I should be saying that, of course I was like, yes, you should be saying that. What is it? What is it that you're going to be telling us right now?
Yeah, right. And it makes it, and everybody, we're all saying it, so I think it's fine that it's out there. I mean, I don't think that's not a secret, right? Everybody knows they got to win these games by a lot. That's what other teams and other conferences have been doing, and now they have a chance to do it themselves given this schedule. Paulie and I were talking about this earlier in the show, Donna, about how much better is this team than last year's team? Like, if they played, how much would this year's team win by? I know that's a very difficult question and, quite the hypothetical, but play along with us. So what do you think? If this year's team played last year's team, what do you think the score would be?
Oh my God, I'm terrible at the hypothetical. So I think this team obviously is better than last year's team. They're composed in a completely different way. I just think that they are more athletic, they're quicker, they're faster, they hopefully will be better defensively. So I think this team beats last year's team by 12 points. That's my throwing out there guess.
Yeah, we said about 15, so we're right there on the same page with there. Okay. Your thoughts on JJ's injury? I know all we have to go on at the moment is kind of Red saying he didn't think it was anything serious. What are your thoughts, and have you gotten any intel in the last couple of days about JJ?
I haven't gotten any intel. I know they did not practice yesterday, so I don't know if he practiced. So nobody practiced. So he didn't practice, obviously, because nobody else practiced. But they're practicing today, and I'm hoping to get some information later today about whether or not he was able to practice. I don't know. I saw him briefly after the game. He kind of sprinted out of the locker room with his big pizza box. He was going out, I'm sure, to see his parents and his family that was there. And he just said, "Hey, what's up?" And then just walked limpingly past me. So I don't have any idea. I didn't see it happen, and I was at the game, so I didn't see any broadcast. I didn't see any replays about it or anything. So I don't know even what it looked like or what happened. But I mean, he was walking around after the game. Yeah. So I guess that's probably good, but you don't want a guy to go from having a tweak of a hamstring to having a bad hamstring problem. So I mean, I would imagine that they're going to be very careful about it. If I were them, I would be, but we'll see.
Yeah, we will see. And if you're going to be careful, now's the time of the season to be careful. And speaking to the TV replay, I saw the TV replay. There's not much there. You don't really. It doesn't look like anything really happened. So maybe, as you said, he tweaked a muscle or what have you, and just needs a little bit of time to get over it. As we look ahead now, just last question from me, Donna. Saturday, Delaware State. What are you looking for? I mean, aside from a lopsided win, is there something in particular you're going to have your eye on?
You know what? I guess will they shoot it a little bit better? They've got a few more games. They've got 3 more games until Houston to maybe get in the groove a little bit with their 3-point shooting. Will they shoot it a little bit better? And again, I'm going to be preaching this all season, but I mean, can they guard? How will they guard? I mean, Delaware is, theoretically not as good as Binghamton, and so they should win that game by a healthy margin. And I'm just curious about, can they shoot it a little bit better?
All right. Fair enough. Donna, as always, we appreciate the time. Thanks so much for the insight, and we'll see you inside the Dome on Saturday.
All right. See you guys. Bye.
All right. Donna Ditota, basketball writer from Syracuse.com. And with that,